Demian.
Hey.
First, we would like to thank you for excellent classes, and we are honored to be here with you.
Thank you very much, and it's an honor for me to come here, and also, you know, that's one thing that I love is to go around and give seminars and show Jiu-Jitsu the way I believe it should be.
We have prepared 10 questions for you. The first one, Demian, a lot of people consider you the best representative of Jiu-Jitsu in MMA. And who, in your opinion, has the most beautiful and powerful, effective Jiu-Jitsu in MMA nowadays?
In MMA, I think, you know, I like very much to see Charles, you know, Oliveira.
Yeah, Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, he has different submissions, he's very creative. And I know him since he was like blue belt. I remember him fighting in Brazil, so, you know, he pulls out a very interesting, you know, game.
And he holds UFC submission records.
Yes, also, yeah.
Amazing jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you. Okay, next one. Demian, what would you recommend to the jiu-jitsu players who decided to move into MMA? What should they focus on firstly?
I think the most important is to understand that the striking for a jiu-jitsu fighter, it's a way to get in the clinch. So it's simple, but most people don't do that. When they train striking, and then in other train they do jiu-jitsu, the other train they do wrestling. They need to mix the striking with the takedowns, with the jiu-jitsu, with the clinches in every training. So you cannot just train, if you're a jiu-jitsu fighter and you want to apply jiu-jitsu, let's say you don't have really heavy hands or this kind of thing, you're gonna learn how to striking by cutting corners, by, you know, walk well, you know, the footwork, and how to mix the punches with the takedowns. Because in the academy there are some guys, they have great kickboxers, great jiu-jitsu fighters, and they also, you know, great athletes, and when they go training they don't do well, you know, when they do MMA sparring, because they don't know how to mix. So the secret is to learn how to mix for the Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighters.
Mix techniques.
Yeah, mix when the people say stand-up fighting doesn't mean just striking. Stand-up fighting means walking, means no angles, avoiding punchings, clinching in the right side.
Footwork, yes.
Footwork a lot. My boxing coach, he says, you hit with the hands, but you're boxing with your legs. So that's the concept that people don't understand.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next question. Tell us about your most difficult fight in MMA, and maybe most difficult BJJ match. Who made you show your maximum potential? Who really surprised you?
Yeah.
In octagon, on the mat?
I think there's a lot of difficult fights in MMA, a lot of, you know, I passed through a lot of battles, and, you know, especially in the welterweight guys like Woodley, you know, Woosman, Covington, and, you know, Anderson was really tough when I fought him. So there is, you know, I have a lot of really tough fights in my life. Rory McDonald. And in Jiu-Jitsu, I think, you know, the toughest fight that I won was Jacaré in the final of the World Cup in 2005. That was
the greatest match.
Yeah, that was, you know, I think my defining match, because he was the greatest, you know, and nobody expected somebody to beat him, and I was able to go and beat him.
Okay, thank you. Next question. So back to Jiu-Jitsu, you are known all over the world as a representative of the old school of Jiu-Jitsu. All opponents know what you will do, but can't oppose anything to you. And question, how do you feel about the new generation of Jiu-Jitsu, new techniques? Maybe do you have a favorite young generation Jiu-Jitsers and so on?
Yeah, there's guys coming, but like I said, what I do every day in the academy is to evolve the Jiu-Jitsu. So looks like it's just fundamentals, you know, what I'm doing, but there's so many details that are evolving every day that what I do is modern jiu-jitsu into MMA. Because if I still doing what people do back in the day, wouldn't work. Because everybody knows that. So if you don't sharpen in the details, even if it's just a basic mount or something, you need to have this really sharp and really adapt for MMA. Really adapt to do that with punches, with blows and defending. And so the new generation that are coming, they know more about sport jiu-jitsu and they need to pass through the same way. Doesn't mean that you like, you know, world champion in sport jiu-jitsu or even in ADCC like I was, that you're gonna do well in MMA. You need to learn, adapt, and it's a new thing. It's something that you need to change a little bit the game, you understand? That's why, you know, when the young guys go to MMA, I always invite them, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters, go to my academy because, you know, I can help them to cut some you know, some way.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. We saw on Instagram that you trained in Renzo Gracie Academy with John Danaher, Gary Tonon. You have sparring with him, yes?
With who?
With Gary Tonon.
Yeah,
sparring,
I did, yeah.
With Gordon Ryan and so on. What can you say about their level, their teaching methods here?
Yeah, so I've been going to New York the last, maybe since 2014, like the last 5 years, a lot, for wrestling training at Edge Academy with my friends there, Dave Esposito, Cold Hammer. And because I'm there and I have friends there like Marcelo Garcia and Renzo, I go to their academy. I mainly go to Marcelo because Marcelo, you know, we grow up together, training together. But I always, you know, Renzo is a big friend of mine, a great guy. And I always want to meet and have, you know, some train with Danaher because, you know, he's a guy that everybody talks about, you know, and some friends in Brazil, they spoke about very highly about him many years ago. So I really was curious about that. And, you know, I was really impressive with him. You know, when I train with him, he's very smart, you know, the way he teaches, the way that I like to teach and the way I like to understand the things. And I was very impressed. I trained with one kid there, he's Gordon Ryan's brother, you know? Yeah, Nick Ryan. It's very, very good. We train some back attacks, man. This kid is very good.
They both will compete in ADCC this year. How do you think they have chances?
Yeah, of course. Yes? Yeah, Gordon already won, right?
Yes, yes.
And the 88 kilos, and I think his brother, yeah, he has chance, you know, in the lighter weights. You never know. It's like ADCC is like the top of the top, and you know, depends how are they training going, of course, you know, as an athlete.
Okay. Next question from our subscriber on Instagram. If the fight with Bеном Аскреном will take place, are you going to wrestle with him, or you'll try to keep the fight in standing? Because your boxing, your standing is definitely better than him.
Yeah, I hope, you know, this will happen. You know, he wants and I want, and now depends on the UFC. But I really, you know, planning my strategy. When the fight, if we close the fight, I will start to plan my strategy with my team, because they are the people that are gonna help me set up the strategy. And of course, you know, I cannot tell about that, yeah. But you know, as soon as we able to close this fight, then we're gonna think about the strategy.
Yes. Okay. We all know that you have Russian roots. Tell me, do you feel any connection with Russia as a subconscious level?
Yeah, a lot. You know, when I never came here till 2 years ago, and I always want to come because, you know, my grandma and my grandpa, they come to Brazil after the first war here, and there was the First War, Russian Revolution, all these wars. They went to Brazil, and my mother, my aunt, and my uncle, they born in Brazil, but they have both parents, you know, from Russia. And once I came here first time, it's funny, like you said, it's subconscious. You start to understand something about your past, about your roots. I start to, you know, remember facts that happens, and I passed with my grandma. I didn't met my grandpa, you know, he died before I born, but my grandma, you know, we had a great relationship. She born, I was 16 years old or something. So it, you know, to come here helps me explain a lot of things about my family and my life, you know, makes me understand better myself, and it's great. It's something really hard to explain, but something that you feel when you hear.
Very nice to hear from you.
Yeah, it's great. You know, my family is like, the side of my father is very Brazilian. It's like native people from Brazil, Portuguese people. It's all mixed, and the side of my mother is all Russian. So for me, growing up, you know, I couldn't see the huge difference culturally, but one thing that everybody says and understand, like, in a way, Russian people, they have something similar to Brazilian people, you know. There is something, you know. It's not like other countries that it's really different, you know. There is some cultural similarities.
Okay. Next question. Continue the sentence. If I had the opportunity to spend the day with a famous person, it will be.
I had the opportunity to spend a day with a lot of famous person that I liked, you know, mainly for the fighting world, like Rickson, Royce, these guys. So I was really blessed of that. But I think with like
maybe
any
not from
top,
BJJ.
yeah, of course, any top level athlete that I admire, like I like surf, so I remember, you know, back in the day. Seeing Kelly Slater, you know, winning, and I know he trains, so would be a nice guy to meet, and other guys who are high performance in something. Would be very interesting to meet them.
Okay. And last question, Demian, you have a great jiu-jitsu career, a great MMA career, happy family. And the question, what is your main dream today? For men who have all in his life.
Yeah, I think my goals been changing the last years because I know I'm going to the end of my career. So, you know, when we start to looking for purpose in life, I start to think about that more. And in one point, you know, like a couple years ago, I started to realize how jiu-jitsu is good, not just for me, but for everybody who trains. So I said, okay, one of my main purposes is spread jiu-jitsu as much as I can. So I doing that. I have a great platform to do that, which is the UFC, but I'm doing that, my seminars, my affiliation programs, and now we're gonna start to do some social projects in Brazil also to the kids. And I think my goal is that, you know, is to travel, is to grow my affiliation, is to spread as much as I can Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and also, you know, try to bring people that doesn't have the opportunity to train into the training.
Okay, Demian, it was an honor for us to share much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, спасибо.
Спасибо. Obrigado.
De nada.